Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and what I wanted to do in this video was actually kind of target the new players that may have actually been coming in from CitizenCon, or maybe you saw the game in GamesCon, or just kind of followed the hype that's actually kind of been built up about this game, and are interested in jumping in. Now, what I want to do is kind of help you actually pick out, an entry-level ship to get you into the game, because ultimately that's generally the best recommendation we can make to anybody. Because there's ships that start at, around $60, but then there's some that jump all the way up into the thousands. So you want to really be careful about what you're purchasing now to make sure the game's going to be what you want. Now, at a later time, you could always end up going in and doing what's known as a cross-chassis upgrade to end up into a different ship. Basically, you're trading in your ship for another one. And that'll help you get into something if you decide you want to change or upgrade at a later time. But for most players, starting in the entry-level category is going to be your best bet. And in Star Citizen, there's two lines that are specifically designed to be entry-level or starter ships. That's going to be the Mustang line and the Aurora line. And they both kind of go about doing things in very different ways. The Mustang is a sleeker ship. It generally flies a little bit better, but it's a lighter ship. The Aurora is very industrial. It's designed to be able to, take on different roles. It typically has better armor. It's just a more durable ship, though it doesn't fly as kind of naturally as the Mustang does. So with that in mind, I'm going to cover three of what I consider to be the core areas of this game. And granted, there's a lot of different ones, but we're going to focus on cargo, exploration, and combat. Now, there's things that fall in between those. There's completely different categories, but those are going to be your primary areas. So starting out with cargo, the Aurora CL, which stands for Clipper, may be the most logical choice here when you're looking at the stat sheet, based on the fact that it can carry 23 standard cargo units compared to 13 on the other models. However, it comes with a higher price tag, and any of the Auroras can actually carry the store-all big box that the CL has. The only real difference is that the CL starts with that big box. So you can start out on day one with that as opposed to having to actually upgrade it in the persistent universe. The other perk there is that since it's listed as standard equipment, your insurance is actually going to cover that as standard. But if you were to upgrade that on another ship, you would just have to cover it additionally, or if you died and had to restart with the new ship, you would just have to go back to using the base size container if you lose your ship. Frankly, it's just not worth paying more for the Clipper right now, and ending up having other ships that are capable of doing the same thing just isn't worthwhile. Now keep in mind, the Aurora series is due for a rework, and that means that there may be something in store to make the Clipper worth something after all. But where we stand today, I'd skip over it and take a closer look at something like the Aurora LN, which stands for Legionnaire. The ship is really more of a combat ship, but considering it can carry the same cargo container as the CL, you get a ship with a much larger, or with a larger power plant, better shielding, and more weapons, meaning that you can defend yourself better and are more of a deterrent. Avoiding more fights is a better approach in cargo, but being more prepared for them regardless is important to help you not lose your cargo, which is going to end up being your income. If you know on day one that you want to do trading outside of the system that you're starting in, then the Aurora LX, which is the deluxe version of the craft, comes with a jump engine stock. Now that should be a relatively cheap upgrade, and you're going to be able to find jobs in the system that you start in, along with the fact that the big box is something that you can add in the persistent universe. But if having that jump engine and that jump capability on day one is important to you, then it's a fine option as well. The LN is the only unique hull variant that's capable of carrying other weaponry though, so that's why it's going to get my ultimate recommendation for a starter ship in the cargo category. Now as far as exploration is concerned, for starter ships, my personal favorite for exploration is the Mustang Beta. The Mustang line just flies well, it looks cool, and a really nice perk for the explorers out there is that it has this really open canopy in the cockpit, giving you great visibility. It also has one of the only starter ships that actually comes with a stock jump engine, meaning that you can get out into the void on day one to go make your mark in the exploration market. The Beta does not come with a real beefy set of shields or weaponry on it, but in an exploration role you should also have upgraded scanners, and hopefully you're able to identify threats from a ways off to avoid conflicts you don't want to be a part of. Also, if you're exploring, you probably don't have that much cargo, so your chances for piracy are going to be a little bit lower, though they still could potentially want the info that you collected or your ship, so you still need to be diligent and keep an eye out for threats. Now, while the stats page, which is often wrong, doesn't list any real differences in the engines, they do make mention of the Beta having unprecedented range and efficiency, meaning that something about this ship is going to allow you to travel long distances, which is going to be really important for someone that's doing exploration. And finally, the Beta has this living quarters in the back that are almost unlike any other ship. It's almost like a miniature camper that has a bed, a TV, a table, and some other amenities to make your journey more comfortable. And while that may seem unnecessary, CIG is still trying to figure out how things like pilot fatigue and logout mechanics are going to work. So having a bed is an important factor, even if we don't know exactly why yet. And then for the final category of combat, when we look at combat ships in the starter line, there's only one that I really feel comfortable recommending to anyone, and that's the Aurora LN again. The whole Aurora line has proven to be impressively durable in Arena Commander, and the Legionnaire variant has enough weaponry to pack a serious punch. It's not fast, it's not agile, it's not glamorous, but it also is not so outclassed that it cannot be competitive. You know, as with anything combat related in this game, pilot skill is the true differentiating factor, but what you get on the Legionnaire variant as far as weapons and missile options combined with the durability of the Aurora line is something you're not going to get on any other starter ship, which makes the Aurora LN one of my most recommended starting ships in the verse. In the Mustang line, there is the Mustang Delta, but the cost is significantly higher, and while it has a lot of good options on paper, the way it flies right now and the way the dumbfire rockets behave, the LN is just a better choice in my mind. So overall, I think the Aurora LN is the best bet in the starter line for a lot of different roles. Now, these are obviously just 3 of the career choices amongst tons of options out there, and many fall sort of into categories that are like in the gray areas between these. For example, piracy is sort of a combination between cargo and combat, so you would assume that the LN is going to be the best option for that since I picked both of those categories to win for the Aurora LN, and you'd probably be right. And I probably would choose that, but there are some other options like the Aurora MR, talking about cooling capabilities, which may in turn lead to a lower signature and, sort of a better ambush ability. So if there's something you want to do in the verse that I didn't cover, let me know and I'll try and give you my recommendation based on these starter ships. But I think that hopefully this is something that can get you off on the right foot. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, have yourselves a wonderful day and take care.